Good day, and thanks for stopping by GardenStateWeather.com, New Jersey and the Northern Mid-Atlantic region's weather news portal. I'm forecaster Robert Smith, and this is Monday, March 26, 2012, daily video forecast discussion. And we'll go ahead and start things out this morning with a cold front that has passed through the region. It's very gusty winds here. We see the isobars, and as the sun's coming up, some of these clouds are beginning to fade away as they go into much deeper, drier air over northern New Jersey. We can see on the satellite imagery here the clouds that are dropping in with cold air advection beginning to dissipate as they reach northern New Jersey, the New York City metropolitan area. Generally, skies are basically mostly sunny just about everywhere across this region. There's a few clouds still across Pennsylvania, and we're expecting a lot of these clouds to dissipate during the afternoon hours as much colder and drier air works down from the mid and upper levels all the way down to the surface. The winds have been gusting because the isobars here from this incoming high pressure over the Great Lakes will build across the region of the Northeast during this afternoon and tonight. Now, the winds are going to be quite gusty. If we take off the sea pressure here and the fronts and we get to the wind, we can see these winds are increasing. And we've got wind gusts now at 20 miles an hour that are sustained, with gusts to about 25 and 30 miles an hour in many of the areas here in New Jersey and New York down to Philadelphia and northern New England, the northern Mid-Atlantic coast states. And these winds will continue to be strong. We're seeing some of the gust coming in right now this hour at around 11 o'clock this morning. Gusts to 25, 30 miles per hour, quite common during the region this afternoon. Now, the mid and high level winds basically all showing out of a northwesterly component, and we're expecting mostly sunny skies this afternoon and very windy conditions, and the winds will begin to abate tonight. Very chilly air too. If we get to the temperatures right now, we can already see temperatures falling. They're back into the upper 20s and 30s this morning and lower 40s across most of southern New York and into northern central Pennsylvania. And they get around into the low 50s in the New York City area and down to the upper 50s in southern New Jersey and the Delmarva area. And this cold air advection will continue to work in through the region this afternoon, and the temperatures will probably have reached their warmest point, will begin to chill down, and by tonight we're going to be dealing with some freeze across the area. Now, we do have watches and warnings. Actually, these are warnings now. We have gale warnings all across the coastal waters from southern New England all the way down through Cape May, Atlantic City, all the way down through the Delmarva on the East Coast. And these are for very strong winds out of the northwest this afternoon. And these winds will be running during this afternoon from this afternoon through 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Northwest winds 20 gusts to 30, gusts to near 40 knots at times, seas 5 to 8 feet on the ocean, 2 to 5 feet on Delaware Bay. Now, these blue indicate all freeze warnings now. These freeze warnings are in effect for tonight until from 3 o'clock tomorrow morning through 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning. And generally, temperatures are going to get down to below freezing in these locations across central and southern New Jersey. Now, the growing season has begun, so this means basically that some of the smaller plants and vegetation will be susceptible to a hard freeze, and it could be 3 or 4 hour freeze where temperatures are at or below the freezing mark. So that could spoil some of the growing that has already begun in these regions. Temperatures will quickly begin to rise tomorrow afternoon as a warm front approaches. So the greatest concern would be for these freeze warnings from 3 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, and the gale warnings for gusty northwest winds at 20 to gusts to 30 with gusts to 40 this afternoon right through early tomorrow morning. And down here we have these lighter purples here. These are freeze watches again for portions of Virginia. Just to give you an indication from the airports, look at this. We've got reports coming in from Sussex County Airport. Temperatures 48, dew point 29, northwest wind gust to 29 miles an hour. And visibilities are very, very, very good. White Plains, also wind gust up to 29 miles per hour, temperature 53. Allentown's now is up to 50. If we go further up to Monticello, the temperature is already at 37 degrees, but they're at an elevation of 1,400 feet with wind gusts out of the northwest at 38 miles per hour. So a very windy day, and this is making wind chill temperatures already basically in the upper 20s for the very, very strong winds. And the latest NAMWRF model composite forecast going ahead now through the next 84 hours. This is off the Penn State eWall site. You see temperatures already falling through the 20s this morning. Here comes the northwesterly winds and some very, very chilly air. Look on the upper right-hand panel here. This is the precipitation. Not only that, but the 850 millibar temperatures dropping from freezing, about 10 Celsius actually at the mid-levels, all the way down to -10 across New York State. So this is some very cold air. As we work our way through the future, we can see on the lower left-hand panel how the winds are increasing as the cold air drives over the cold, relatively warmer air over the water. And we're finding wind gusts in excess of 30, 40 knots at times, so very choppy seas. Offshore flow, downsloping air, so this is going to lead to most of the clouds dissipating as the air mass begins to dry out. As we go through the future, I find the temperatures overnight tonight to get down to below freezing in many of the interior sections of central New Jersey and down through the Delmarva region as well. And this is why there's some freeze warnings in effect for several hours during the morning on Tuesday. And then during the day on Tuesday, actually the temperature is going to start to rise again. The winds will still be from the northwest, and gradually they're going to swing around to the south and southwest, probably during Tuesday night as a warm front begins to move closer to the region. We can see this being forecasted. No precipitation really. Here comes another disturbance over the top of the ridge. Some warmer air coming in on a Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday morning as the flow becomes more from the southwest and the temperatures begin to rise from the 30s through the 40s in the morning hours, and then getting back into the 50s across many areas from New York City all the way down to Philadelphia during the afternoon on Wednesday, and possibly even reaching the lower 60s too across southern areas on Wednesday afternoon. Now, one disturbance moves off the coast, and then it comes another west-southwest flow. Another quick-moving disturbance moves off. A cold front comes through during the overnight hours on Wednesday night into Thursday, switches the flow back to the northwest, and temperatures begin to cool off slightly again, but still relatively warm for this time of the year, seasonal to above seasonal. And we find the temperatures dropping back down through the 40s on Thursday morning across many interior sections, and the low 50s along the extreme southern New Jersey coast into the Delmarva region. And then some of that air begins to moderate once again back through the 40s and 50s during the morning hours on Thursday, and finally rising back into the 50s in most areas from New York down through the Philadelphia corridor and the Delmarva during Wednesday afternoon, with much drier air and a northwest flow. The European modeling going ahead, we can see we got a lot of activity developing off the coast of the eastern Pacific rather, and this is going to translate to very active pattern with cutoff lows moving across the region by Sunday into the plains. And basically, look at this. We've got active weather coming through. Here's another cutoff low moving through the upper Great Lakes, and this would be for the time period of next Monday into Tuesday. And then that low becomes cut off again, so we're going to be in for a lot of changes, up and down roller coaster, but we're probably not going to get quite back to where we were the last couple of weeks. This is last night's run of the GFS and European model, the 8 to 10 day 500 millibar mean features in the atmosphere. We find the European modeling is hanging on to a trough axis here over from the east of Hudson's Bay and into southeastern Canada, all through the northeastern United States. And this would be for the period of next week. Into the latter part of next week as well. And we can find that basically troughing will be developing upper storm system here, cutting off across the Alaska, south of the Aleutian Islands, ridging across the plains and the upper Midwest rather, and a trough access right here along the eastern United States. Now, the GFS has something a little bit different with a little bit more wavelength disparity in it. Shows a ridging building up across the Great Lakes, keeps the trough access off of the coast, still a downsloping flow, and a trough getting involved here with a cutoff low trying to develop here across the southwest, and again the mean ridging across the eastern Pacific and the upper low south of the Aleutian Islands. So a blending of these two means a very active weather pattern coming up with over the next 8 to 10 days here for North America. So that's going to do it for today. Mind that vegetation. Bring those potted plants in if you can overnight tonight. There are freeze warnings in effect for a large portion of the area for tomorrow morning. And then we get back up in temperatures, but probably not reaching any of the levels that we've seen over the last couple of days or last couple of weeks, actually, either for that matter, this week anyway. And there'll be some changeable weather too this week, but no major precipitation events that we're seeing for this week. For GardenStateWeather.com, I'm forecaster Robert Smith. We'll be back bright and early again with you on Tuesday. Have a wonderful Monday afternoon.